YouTube, happy new year. Welcome back to another video of Fazos Thoughts. This is the first Fazos Thoughts of the year. I'm really excited to get into this video because we're going to talk about what happened last night. We're going to talk about what went down last night, what I did and did not like about the premiere of Raw on Netflix. You know what I'm saying? So let's get into it. I don't want to take too long getting into this intro, but it all started with Triple H having this narration on this video that was actually uploaded on Twitter. I want to say the day before, so it was either Sunday night or maybe it was early yesterday. Pretty much saying, like the reasons why we're here today, the reason why you might be here. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully, subscribe to the channel. Hopefully, leaving a like on the video. Just kidding, not really killing, but pretty much just talking about why we're here as wrestling fans. And once it was over, there was like this huge projector that dropped while Triple H was in the screen, while Triple H was in the ring, and he pretty much said, welcome to the Netflix era, welcome to Monday Night Raw. The pyro went off. It was a big show feel. Like this show really did feel like a premium live event, or as they say, or as I like to say, it really did feel like a pay-per-view. And after Triple H had got out of the ring, the final boss had came out, but it was not the final boss that I know, right? Like this wasn't the final boss we saw in, I want to say, what, February, March, April, and then when he came back in October, like this was The Rock as we know it. And granted, I do understand that it's the first night. It's not necessarily the night of oh, let's get these guys in character. He wanted to make sure that everyone knows he's on the board. He wants to say thanks to everyone who, allowed this to happen, all the Netflix executives and things of that nature, the shareholders. You want to keep those guys happy, obviously, when you have a business relationship. But that's not the problem that I have, right? The problem that I have is once Rock came out there and started talking, it's what he was doing afterwards. Him giving the belt to his daughters and his family, that's not an issue. It's family over everything. That's literally what the bloodline stands on, right? Family. So that's not really where my issue comes to play. My issue comes to play with pretty much what Rock was doing when he was shouting out everyone. He shouted out the Netflix executives, but then he started to shout out Cody Rhodes. Now, if y'all remember, unless you're living under a rock, last March, The Rock pretty much ended Cody Rhodes, right? He beat his ass in Chicago. I remember that was like the best. That was like one of the best Raws of the year last year, and pretty much like he led on Cody Rhodes into thinking, the night after WrestleMania, we got a video on the channel about that as well. Like when he comes back, he's coming for the WWE Championship. And when he shouted out Cody Rhodes, he pretty much just said, congratulations, thank you for, carrying the company. And I'm just like, dude, what are we talking about? You know what I mean? Like, let's not get crazy and act like you didn't want to murder this guy like a few months ago. And, afterwards, he's having a drink with this guy backstage. And, like, that shit blew my mind. I was like, there's no reason why The Rock should be out here, thanking Cody Rhodes for, hugging and kissing this guy when he literally was talking about how he was not pleased in October when, him and Roman were tagging together in the ring. So that was very off to me. And then preceding that, the Bloodline Rules match started, which you see in front of you. Roman was getting packed up the majority of the time during this match. He got his ass whooped. And obviously he ended up coming up on top, and he was then the new tribal chief. The Rock came out, put the Ulafala on him, and, they had a special moment in terms of, saluting to his father. That was for Sika. It was great to see. It was just very confusing considering the fact that The Rock really pretty much put himself in position to go after the WWE Championship, but it seems like that's under the water. So that was very weird to me, and I did not understand that. However, moving on to the next segment of the show, we had John Cena come out and essentially say that he is entering the Royal Rumble. And I really like how he did this segment, man. He pretty much it was classic John Cena, man. He really does make you feel like he makes you believe. He makes you think, oh my gosh, like, is this it? Like, everyone was already, like, kind of sad. It's like, damn, like, I'm seeing my hero for the last time, for the first, starting off the year. And, like, what are they going to do? And, he pretty much says, like, a miracle will have to happen for him to be able to, have the number 17 when it comes to world championships. And, it was really cool to see John be out there for what it was, but I was like, damn, like this is really coming to an end. And he pretty much had entered the Royal Rumble. I'm very excited. I don't know if he's going to win necessarily, But anytime you get to hear those trumpets and horns, man, I mean, it's a great day to be living. You know what I'm saying? We got to see John Cena. The pop for his entrance was amazing too. Everyone was just excited to see John, man, and I'm really excited to see what they do for him this year. Considering the fact that if he doesn't win the Royal Rumble, he might go to the Chamber, and don't really know who he's gonna face at Mania, but that's up to management in terms of what it is that we're gonna see. So after that, we got Travis Scott coming out here with Jey Uso. His entrance was lit as hell. And one of my favorite things that I've been enjoying when it comes to the current product is, the authenticity. Like, you really get to see Michael Cole and his element when Pat McAfee is at ringside with him. And, Travis Scott is coming down the aisle smoking a blunt, bro. I was like, oh yeah, we're definitely on Netflix because this shit was not happening on USA, right? Like, hell, this might not even be happening on Peacock, but I mean, like, if you consume anything on Netflix, I mean, that's as real as it gets. They don't shy away from anything that it is that you see on a normal day to day basis. So it probably didn't really matter, not necessarily meaning that this is what they're going to be doing every single week, but it was a big night. They pretty much were just like having the biggest emphasis on like entrances and presentation, which the presentation was 10 out of 10. The stage that they had as well, I was a big fan of too. I just like how they had everything, come together. So I was definitely a big fan of that. But moving on to this match that you have in front of you, it was Drew McIntyre versus Jey Uso. This was pretty much just to get the entrance out for Jey. They were in the Intuit Dome. They had the lights going. And as you guys know, Drew McIntyre has been hunting down everyone in the bloodline. So, there's no difference when it came to him trying to take down Jey Uso. He was next on the list. And to me, the match was good, but this was definitely a dead point in the show. The crowd, they were tired, right? I mean, the entrance alone literally took all the energy out. When you have the Rock come out and then you have Roman and everyone dances to Solo's entrance and Cena, having his gut wrenching promo because like damn, like it's coming to an end. I mean, you're gonna be tired, right? There's gonna be a low point in the show. Now, these guys definitely didn't put on a snooze fest in the ring. It's just that the match placement where this was in the show was just a little bit hard for these guys to expect a hot crowd, which they were hot all night. It's just that this was the middle portion of the show where they kind of were just like a little bit tired. I wouldn't be confused or surprised rather if guys were going to the bathroom, what I'm saying, buying a $8 soda. I heard the prices in Intuit Dome rather are like kind of crazy. So wouldn't be surprised if that's when guys are taking their bathroom breaks. I mean, they got to see Jey Uso come out. That's really what people care about the most when he's out there. So, I just wouldn't be surprised if that's all they cared about. And then, you get into the next portion of the show. Now, this portion I was very excited for right now. First of all, you got Rhea Ripley coming out here, and you got to realize, right, since they're on Netflix, they want to have the best presentation. They want everyone to know what time it is. They don't want you to not know who the stars are on this show, right? This was very, very clear. When Rhea came out, I'm telling you right now, the pop for Rhea was insane. The presentation for Rhea was great. Same for Liv as well. Like, I'm not trying to, take away any credit for Liv, but I mean, Rhea Ripley is a megastar in this company. Like, let's not act confused. Like, recognize, right? Like, you got to know who you're seeing when you're watching this product. And, it was just really cool to be able to have these ladies on the spotlight because this was the only female match on the show, which was weird because I swore that the Intercontinental Championship final, which was between Dakota and Lyra Valkyria, I thought that was going to be on the show as well, but I guess they saved it for next week. But the best part about this is that this is finally over. This entire year has been centered around Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan. Like, I'm pretty sure this started before SummerSlam, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it was Night of Champions when Liv Morgan finally beat Rhea Ripley for the world title. I'm pretty sure that's when this had started. That was the beginning of what ended up leading on for like almost 7 months, bro. Like, I was tired of this feud, but luckily enough, Rhea Ripley was able to retain. She was packing up Liv Morgan during this match as well, but this was just a great showing for the both of them. Liv had the best year of her career this past year, and it definitely shows she was having an improvement in ring and on promos. Now, obviously, her promos, you're not going to expect her to, like tug at the heartstrings, obviously. Like, she's a heel, like, that's not what her job is, but she definitely has improved. If you look at her title run from 2023, even, or was that late 2022 when she was facing Ronda Rousey? She definitely has had a huge improvement. I'm very proud of her, and I was just happy to be able to see that this match was the end, which is what Rhea Ripley had talked about at the end of her press conference. But at the end of this match, when it was over, Rhea, she had her celebration. Everybody was happy. And it was interesting to me when The Undertaker came out, because I'm like, okay, like, is he just going to ride past her? Like, like, that was definitely kind of on the weird side to me. And, obviously, actually, before that, when the match was over, you got Dom trying to give Shorty a hug, you know what I'm saying? The Riz King. He tried to give Rhea a hug and whatnot. And she was not falling, you know what I'm saying? She was not going for it. She kicked him in the you know what. And, you know what I'm saying? RIP Dom, he is not having no kids no time soon. And then, like I was getting back to after this match when she was walking up the ramp, The Undertaker came down on his bike, you know what I'm saying? He did his lap around the ring, and then they had an iconic pose that is definitely going to be, I wouldn't be surprised if she has that framed where they're, they throw their fist up and then they look at the camera from behind. So, really cool moment for Rhea Ripley. And, not that that's a passing of the torch, but it was funny considering the fact that her other Terror twin and Damian Priest, they all call him the bisexual Undertaker. So I thought that it was them, know what I'm saying, trying to be funny, but also have some sort of like continuity in the memes, because Triple H definitely be logged on X. Like, he knows all the memes, he knows what's going on. So, I just thought it was pretty funny that they had The Undertaker come out at the end of Rhea Ripley's match there. Now, for what you've all been waiting for, we get to the main event. Now, guys, if you guys remember the last video that I had out about like a few weeks ago, I had the biggest fit about this match not being the main event. Like, I really thought it was ridiculous. These guys have been feuding for about 10 years now. And, for some, they might think, oh, it hasn't really been 10 years. He's just saying that it's been forever. No, these guys have legitimately been feuding for 10 years. If you guys watched the video that they had out on YouTube, Seth Rollins had about a 22, it was like a 22-minute interview with Jackie Redmond. I watched it on Sunday night. It was great. And I think what made the interview so good, it was Seth Rollins was talking about what he doesn't like about CM Punk, his hatred for him, and like pretty much why they are where they are today, like with their, lack thereof of a friendship or brotherhood even. And, obviously Seth Rollins talked about how, Punk had abandoned him, and then when he went to the other company, he tried to tear this place down, and Seth Rollins wasn't rocking with that because he's essentially been here through the lows and the highs that WWE is at right now. And, for all intended purposes, as much as I love CM Punk, Seth Rollins is not wrong. CM Punk is caught in 4K talking about how, you could main event, a buy one, get one show. Obviously, he was referring to the 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 2 nights of WrestleMania a few years ago. He's been on record saying that he wasn't going to come back in. He obviously did come back in. For storyline purposes, you can easily say, oh yeah, like he definitely came back when all things were good. And obviously we know what really happened. Things weren't working out in AEW, and they even released the behind the scenes footage, and he's been on record talking about how that went backstage. I think it was on the Chris Van Vliet podcast, or maybe it was someone else. I get them confused from time to time. But, long story short, these guys made their entrances. It was electric. And this is when the crowd came back because, like I said before, once they had Jey Uso's entrance and, booing the hell out of Hulk Hogan during the night, the Final Boss came out early on. You got Roman. That's all some people really came to see because people were, swayed into thinking that was going to be the main event. Obviously, that's not what ended up happening. The crowd got tired, but this match, they were electric the whole time. And the story of this match essentially was CM Punk prevails through Seth Rollins' hatred for him. And, it was very interesting because Seth Rollins has been involved in he's been involved in 2 main stories over these last 2 years, and they both revolve around the same thing, right? It's like Roman Reigns didn't win because he couldn't get past Seth Rollins, betraying him when he was in the Shield with Dean Ambrose. This match, Seth Rollins essentially had CM Punk beat. I'm not going to say he ran circles around CM Punk, but like, say we're just like speaking about this like in a real life setting, right? Like, Seth Rollins could have ended this match. He was outside the ring. when Punk was down, saying like, you're here, but they're singing my song. Even when he was getting beat, they were singing Seth Rollins' song. Like there was no home field advantage per se, but CM Punk pretty much did have the edge in this match. If you want to talk about crowd advantage and what they wanted to see, who they were happy about winning the match and whatnot, like Seth Rollins pretty much had him beat. And for some strange reason, or I won't say for some strange reason, but Seth Rollins didn't want to. He didn't want to end the match. It's kind of like when you're playing the game and like you could cancel the pinfall. Like that's pretty much what Seth Rollins was doing without doing a pinfall at all. Because once he did do a pinfall, CM Punk kicked out, and it was funny because CM Punk definitely wouldn't have kicked out if he had hit the curb stomp earlier on and just went for the pin right then and there. This match was really good to me as well because obviously CM Punk and Seth Rollins hit each other's finishers. Now, I'm really big on finishers. I don't like that so many finishers were kicked out of on this evening. Like I feel like a finisher is a finisher. Like for instance, Jey Uso should not be kicking out of a Claymore. I know he's over like Rover, but no, he's not. He's not kicking out of a Claymore, or at least he shouldn't be, right? But CM Punk kicking out of a curb stomp. I mean, this match was supposed to be the match we were supposed to get at WrestleMania last year. So them pulling out all the stops is fine and all, but they gotta work on this finisher thing. Like I'm not a big fan of that. But speaking of finishers, CM Punk had got back in the ring and he had hit he had hit Seth Rollins with a GTS, and he bounced off the ropes and landed on top of CM Punk's shoulders, and Punk had hit him with another GTS, and that was good night the lights. Like that match, man, that match definitely was worth the wait. And it's unfortunate that it didn't happen at WrestleMania 40, but who knows what we would have had for the main event on this evening, right? Like obviously you could have went with the tribal combat, but depending on how that goes, we don't know if we even get Cody versus Roman. So I mean, for us to be able to have what we had this evening was just like, it was amazing. And it was a 10 out of 10. Obviously CM Punk ended up winning the match. This is not the last match. Rollins looked distraught. Punk was talking about how he's going after Gunther and his title. He said he's going after Cody Rhodes. He's taking all the titles. And yeah, man, this was a phenomenal way to put a stamp on their introduction to WWE on Netflix, guys. So thanks for watching the video. Like, comment, subscribe. It's your boy Faisal, the Great One, and I'm out, bruh.